Welcome back to the Empty Thoughts podcast. We're your hosts, Andrew and Nick.
Hello.
How are you today, Nick?
You know what? I'm feeling great. The weather's beautiful. Spring has arrived. Of course, right when we start our podcast, the dog and the cat have got to start chasing each other.
And we just sat here for like 45 minutes getting everything ready. And they were fucking
sleeping. Yeah, and they're going to play
too.
toy
in his damn
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? We're going to go ahead.
I've had it.
I feel like
And with that being said, I said that because it seemed like the perfect time, because I just said to Andrew before we came on, I mean, who hasn't seen some of their TikToks? I think it's called the I've Had It podcast with those two blonde ladies from somewhere I think they're from New York. Anyway, fucking love their podcast. So that's why I said I've had it, because I said to Andrew, I said, I'd love to collab with them or like be a guest on their podcast or vice versa. Like, I just love them because I love their points they have, because they're always on point. And yeah.
Murphy, I'm sorry, but
so anyway,
we had tons. We actually went for a beautiful.
Yeah, the weather's beautiful.
Actually,
Spring is
strong. Let's move this back in for a sec, because I just wanted to quickly ask, how is everybody on the other end of this podcast doing? How are the listeners doing?
Yeah.
You guys can go ahead and comment literally on this episode, and let us know. We want to know how everyone's feeling. We want to know what you guys thought about the last
interact
episode.
with us.
Interact with us. We want to know how we want to. Honestly, I'm very interested every time I go into it.
And if there's something you want us to talk about.
For sure. Every time I go into like our demographics, I see how I see like where people are listening from.
Yeah.
And last week, India overtook the USA, the States.
I mean,
which is,
I think a lot of people are
super interested
in the US right now.
Sure. But I mean, like I didn't even realize, it doesn't occur to me ever that people, even if it's just one person, I can't tell how many. It just shows us a percentage or whatever, and I don't know how to. Like, I don't know how many people that would be. But
and as Canadians, I think we're like, it's so nice that we're being like diving into this and like actually doing an episode, like, and you know, because now's our time, I feel.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. We had to pause for a sec because I had to tell Nick that he was cutting me off.
I know. It's my ADHD.
We both have it, but I just needed to. I was like, girl, like, I can barely keep my train of thought. That's something that we know for sure on this podcast. I'll be saying something and then forget what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So like, if you cut me off, I'm gonna forget completely what I'm talking about. So I was just like, oh my god, like, for the sake of like me not being like a cunt this whole entire episode, we're gonna have to like address this really quick. So that's what we were doing. I was thinking I might just blame it on the dog barking, but I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like,
no,
we're not perfect.
Empty thoughts, like, just kind of.
You see, I almost I don't regret. Do I regret naming this the Empty Thoughts podcast? No.
I like it.
No, because it doesn't. No, people coming into the podcast are already knowing like that it's not that serious. Like, the thoughts are empty. You don't need to.
And I feel like that's what people like.
But on the internet, on X or Twitter, I was Empty Thoughts for a while, and every fucking time I would respond to something, people would say, "Oh, empty thoughts indeed," or something stupid like that. I was like, man, I'm fucking asking for it by having Empty Thoughts podcast or whatever in my name. So
yeah,
I took it out, but for a split second there, I was like, do I ever, like, our thoughts on here aren't necessarily empty, but I do like when I chose the title, because initially this was just me and Amy was on board for a little bit, and I thought of the name and I was like, honestly, like, I don't want it to be that deep. I want the thoughts to be like, because I think we actually discussed this on air last time we recorded that that we wanted it to be kind of like how Trisha does her vlogs, or like her podcast, or Just Trish podcast. Like, it's hours long because it's just a stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
And I feel like the people I want to reach are into that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But yeah, the guys, thank you for tuning back in.
Yeah.
As mentioned, or as asked, begging of you prior, we begged of you prior, comment on this video. Like, I don't think it really necessarily does anything for like our stats or anything like that.
Yeah.
We just truly want to know who is listening to us and how are you? Is there anything that you want us to talk about? Is there anything that you want our opinion on? Our empty thought on?
I love the idea of, like, it's fun, obviously, because people wouldn't do podcasts like if they didn't want to talk about what they're talking about. So I like that, but I think there's a lot of fun involved in people engaging and like you said, if there is something they want to hear us talk about or discuss, like for them to bring it up, there's just something different about it. So yeah, definitely engage with us.
Yeah, and I feel like we could have like I wanted to almost like just like scrap the intro and like not even scrap it because it goes to our takes.
Yeah.
But I want to try a new one, and Nick was like, "No, let's just keep that one." And it's like, you know what? Why not?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like the things that I wanted to be more polished about this podcast are the fact that I want to be more consistent.
Yeah.
And I wanted you guys to be able to hear us.
Yeah.
I want you to be able to hear us because that was an issue in a lot of our previous podcasts. Is that we would literally like record a whole episode and you would I'd realize that the mic wasn't even plugged in.
Right.
Or whatever. And then it would be like, it sounded like shit. And I'd still post it. Just because I was like, you know what, like it's not that deep, but also.
And we'll look back on it and be like, okay, that's when we started. Like, look how, you know,
I've thought about deleting like a lot of like those episodes from the first season. I've thought about it because like
that's great. I mean, look at YouTubers.
For sure.
The quality of their videos as they have become successful has only gotten better. So it'll be cool, like, you know, if this became something we did for the rest of our life or even the next 10 years to look back and be like, oh, look how far we came. Like,
totally.
You know, so yeah.
Well, I feel like I was really, the podcast as a whole was really just like getting on their legs there for the better part of 2 years.
Yeah.
It took us a while to even realize that you and I were interested in talking because we see each other 24/7. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know if you want to talk about the things I want to talk about on here. And I was like, well, wait, we don't have to just talk about the things I want to talk about on here. We can do a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do. And that's what we've been doing. And it works for us. And
just, you know what? Honestly, sorry. See, cutting them off.
No, like, listen, it is what it is. Like, we've addressed it and it is what it is. Like, it's fine. If you cut me off, just don't expect me to understand or remember what I was talking about. Yeah. But we're both pretty bad for it. Like, I obviously have ADHD. It's just not diagnosed. And I say obviously because everybody in my life has always said it.
Yeah.
And which I don't take offense to. I have BPD and anxiety. I feel like maybe anxiety or ADHD is kind of just like a given. It like kind of just like falls into the probably some of the symptoms.
Right.
Anyways, but just kind of like circling back to like how you guys are doing. Our last episode that we put out last week.
Before you lose my train of thought,
Nick,
honestly,
let me finish this because I keep on forgetting. Last week we put out our
just because we are
first episode in a long time, and it's actually one of our most popular episodes that we've ever put out, or shaping up to be. Since we put it out 5 or 6 days ago, it's like we've just never had an episode gain as much momentum in such a short amount of time. So thank you guys so much. Obviously, people were waiting for us to come back, and that's crazy because I thought no one would give a fuck. But thank you for caring.
Yeah. No, I just want to put it out there. Like, if you've ever thought like, because most people we've listened to podcasts the same.
No, we don't need anybody else starting up another goddamn podcast. It's already fucking hard out here. Don't give any no damn ideas.
Right.
Nick, I'm gonna have to pause this and beat your ass. Like, guys.
Well, but it's
oversaturated.
Everyone would have a different kind of vibe to their podcast, right?
I know, but it's just I really no, fuck them.
True.
In Fredericton is no. We're the premier.
We'll let you know when to start a podcast.
It's one of those things where it's like I'm not gonna lie and say that like I want everyone to join podcasts and like succeed in that realm, because no, we're barely even scraping by. Like, I'm excited to see the numbers that we got last week. Like, I don't think that like this, like I never got into this or started the podcast with the idea that I would like, you know, quit my job and move to Los Angeles and get my lips done and get a BBL and get like 360 lipo. Like, I definitely did not plan that, and I definitely was not watching videos as if like it was a reality.
Yeah,
of, like the recovery and stuff. I definitely was not.
I would not want a BBL. I'd be afraid to sit down.
You remember how I went through a phase where I really wanted to get a BBL and liposuction? Like, all I could do was watch the recovery videos. And the series.
I don't want to remember.
I do.
It's a thing.
I do, because like I don't necessarily know if I'm
watching those videos.
I don't know.
Who watched one?
Necessarily like the ass.
Yeah.
I want the 360 light.
Like, who was it? We watched once.
We've watched that.
And she went home and she had to lay with the seats all down in the back of the van.
That was Vanessa Lynn. I love her, but
I was like, what the hell are we watching?
I commented on something. I was like, keep going, girl. She's like, what the fuck's that supposed to mean? And I was like, what the hell? Like, keep doing your thing.
Oh my god.
So I don't comment anymore.
Right.
Like, what do you mean? What is it supposed to fucking
Something's a
mean?
little unwell with
I
it.
know, it was a little spooky, but so I like her and I like that.
There's a lot of people that are unwell that have a platform though.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, hello.
what's your
Look at
difference,
us.
Shane and
It's the age of social media. Like anyone with a Facebook profile technically has a platform.
yeah,
So,
Shane and what's his name?
ew, Shane and Rylan? Shane
Yeah,
Dawson?
they're fucking weird.
Oh my god, there was this my cousin Corey,
Yeah.
who I doubt listens to this, but if she does, shout out to you.
Yeah.
There was a period of time, I don't know if you guys heard me snort or not, but I did snort back there. I'm sorry. I have like a deviated nose that I've had for like my whole life. I don't know.
Oh,
I made that up. I heard someone say the term deviated septum in a movie once,
yeah.
and I diagnosed that for myself.
Oh,
Through the movie.
okay.
So my cousin Corey, she like for a period of time there, she used to say like, "Oh, you remind me a lot of Shane Dawson," and I was like, "Who the hell is that?" And then I started watching Shane Dawson's videos, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, he's a weirdo.
Like, maybe we might sound the same, but I don't fuck cats. Like, I don't like he fucked his cat. He's talked about that on his podcast. Yes, literally.
Why would you be open about something?
Well, see, the thing is, he literally would like do blackface
and allow
and
someone like that to have
stuff
a child,
like that.
honestly.
Well, see, the thing, I think that's where a lot of it's really unfortunate that people like Shane Dawson and Rylan are like kind of like our representation in the media as gay people or as LGBT people, because like to some people that's all they see on the media for like.
I
and
know.
I couldn't blame them. Be like, oh my god, maybe
even kids,
maybe the gays are
kids even see them.
like, not all weird babe. It's just Shane and Rylan.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like I just feel like I don't know. Like I used to say some things and be a little weird and stuff, but I never would ever find humor in making like jokes, even if it was a joke when he said it. Like it's not funny.
That's not
like,
funny.
It's
That's
gross.
weird.
Like even coming out of your mouth, like it just feels so wrong.
Yeah.
So I that's where I'm like, okay, like I don't.
Is that not a crime?
It definitely is.
Some sort of
definitely is. It's called bestiality, which I believe is a crime pretty much everywhere, except for like
it's nasty.
places where you can stone people to death for being gay. Like so, honestly. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's that. They're weird, whether you like it or not. Thank you.
Shane and Rylan?
Yeah.
No, they are. And it's unfortunate that they are like, because I'm trying to articulate this properly, but of course, it's the empty thoughts. What I'm trying to say is like, there are people out there who maybe don't have a lot of, or any gay or lesbian people around them.
Yeah.
And maybe they're religious or whatever, and God forbid they turn on their TV and the first thing or only thing they see for gay media is Shane and Rylan. Like I can imagine.
Well,
like,
no wonder
just, like,
they're horrified.
I just feel like it adds fuel to like the flames. Like I mean, like I'm all for people. Like I'm all for people
being their like authentic self
until you're fucking gross. And they were gross, and they are gross. I just feel like that can't be forgiven.
No.
And I just feel like it's really unfortunate that people will see them and be like, oh my god, like I don't know if I'm saying this right.
No, I know.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It's like,
and like get like an assumption like, oh, like that's how all gay people might be.
And it's like we gays are kind of known to like we're not bitches. I don't want to say that.
I'm a bitch.
Well, yeah, I guess like it's like
I truly don't try to be anymore.
No, but like I mean in the sense that we're known to be quite outspoken for the most part, and stand up for like what's right, like because we all our community, we are a community that has kind of always had to stand up for ourselves, but it's especially in this day and age, like it's just sometimes there's some of people in our community, it's their own actions that maybe bring on some of this hate because it's just weird, flat out weird. And they look at that and it's like, well, no wonder. Like, I mean, it's not, and I'm not hating on anyone at all. Like, but it's we have to take a look at ourselves sometimes and like take in what we're displaying, like what kind of behavior we're displaying, and what's like I'm not saying it's good how our community's treated, but if you're gonna go around and see stuff,
I'm gonna cut you off there because I just zoned out because I like the song in the background. You're wrong there. You are wrong there. You're not going to say that like just because someone acts a certain way that they deserve to be called a faggot or deserve.
No. That's not what I mean. It's like, how people just simply become hateful towards our community, like because they like how some people after what's coming out of their mouth like that. If a child saw that, it's like you know what I mean, stuff that Shane Dawson says, and because I've heard of little kids who know who Shane Dawson is and stuff, and it's like, oh, like if one
will they be in yes, sure,
yeah.
So this song that's playing in the background, completely like my mind's on that. So I wanted to quickly talk about this really quick. Right. I'm sorry. It's True Religion by Shy Girl. And featuring somebody else. You know what? I have to bring it up because like
why do I think Sia?
It sounds like Sia. This is Pink Panther singing right now, boys. True Religion by Shy Girl, Isabella Love Story, and Pink Panthers. Two other girls that I never really heard of, but Shy Girl, love her. Mm-hmm. I think that she is putting out some of the best like dance and pop music ever, and no one's even fucking paying attention to it. Friggin' sorry guys, we're swearing over here a lot today. Where I am, I guess. Yeah, and there's a lot of music that came out this week that I think is really good, and I don't know. We'll talk about that towards the end.
Sunset Boulevard by
Selena Gomez.
Like, oh my god, I could listen to it on repeat.
It's so good, and you do listen to it on repeat. It's great. I love it.
It's so good. Love our girl Selena.
I love her so much. I just find it so interesting that she's releasing it like featuring Benny Blanco, or like they're like releasing it like where they're both credited as if like he. Like I know he's a producer and a songwriter. I just find it interesting because he's always been a songwriter, producer, and he's never usually like you don't see him like credited in the title like that usually. So I find it interesting because like so far in every song that's been put out, it's just her vocals.
Yeah.
Except for Gracie Abrams was featured on one. But
you know, well, I know you do. We don't really listen to much of her music, but like that artist Brandi Carlile.
The lesbian one?
Yeah, and she opened for Pink on her tour last summer, or was it last summer when Mom saw her? Anyway, I didn't know, but I have some of the music in my playlist.
She has that song with Miley Cyrus from
but so there's an album coming out soon. I forget the date, but it's a whole album that she did with Elton John.
What?
Yeah, and the songs that are out so far, I think there's two of them. Yeah, there's 2 songs out now, and they're actually really good.
Oh wow, we'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I can't wait till it comes out because it'll be really. She's a good singer.
Oh yeah, and I think that's
like
great.
She's very talented.
Well, she's lesbian and he's a gay man. I think that's really great.
Right, and I bet you that's something the industry has never saw is 2 members. 2 artists that are from the LGBT community
like join up like that and release like a
whole and you know this could possibly like he may not have too many more years of making albums left.
In his last
tour, I guess his site's like gone.
Well, I was wondering, remember we watched some of his special there, the Disney one a couple years ago, and he was literally just being driven around the stage playing a piano the entire time, which is fine. Yeah. But it's like, at what point do these people get to retire and enjoy their life?
I think they truly love it, though.
I get that, right? But, I mean, like, it's no different than, like...
Yeah, it's called...
At some point, to me, it feels like it could be elder abuse. Like, if my parent...
I know, right?
Like, he can't walk or anything, and he's blind. Like, what is he doing on that stage?
I know.
Like, I feel like he should be at home with his kids. Or traveling the world, spending the money that he spent his entire life earning.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, continue, sorry.
But yeah, it's called Who Believes in Angels?
That's
Elton John. Yeah. Elton John and Brandi Carlile, and it's 2 discs. There's only 5 songs on each. But
on each disc?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Anyway, well, it says disc 1, disc 2, but the songs that are out, there's one called Swing for the Fences. Another one, Never Too Late, and then there's actually 3, and then Who Believes in Angels? Never Too Late, so good.
because like the title was interesting, but then like the name of the song, I almost wonder if like the theme is like a lesbian baseball team, because like there is that movie where like what's that movie where they're
See, go look at her under her name, and like it shows the album cover.
okay, I'm going to.
Yeah.
So while we do that, I need you to tell people what you've been up to for the past couple of days. Then
what have I been up to? Just being a bus driver.
being bus.
Yeah, I mean that's about it. Hasn't been too much of a busy week, but being a bus driver and doing my thing, and glad it's the weekend and the weather's nice. Yeah.
The movie is called A League of Their Own. So like I wonder if like maybe Brandy Carlisle grew up watching A League of Their Own. And
yeah.
I'm not even being sarcastic or a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
I am curious if they seen the movie A League of Their Own. And I don't know if the girls on this team in the movie are even lesbians, but you would assume they are because it's a female baseball team and like
yeah.
that's inherently just lesbian in itself, even if you're not scissoring. Like that's just I don't make the rules, right? So I do wonder. I'm interested. I would love to hear that. I would love to listen to that after we're done this podcast.
It's I think it's gonna be really good.
Nice. You know, we've had the Lady Gaga record for a week and it's so great,
so
but
good.
it also reminded me of her time. Well, she kind of touched on it, and that's what reminded me of her time and what we just spoke about, like Brandy Carlisle and Lady Gaga's like work with Tony Bennett. I'm not a jazz person, but I think that the fact that she was able to do that with him is so special.
I think that if I'm not mistaken, like even before she did some music with Tony Bennett, I'm pretty sure he died, right?
He did die.
Yeah. That I'm almost certain I've heard her say that she had always looked up to him.
Totally. She's a jazz theater.
So I think there's something that's great about someone our age that's gotten to where she is now with her career, to be able to do that with one of her idols, who is a legend in his genre of music.
Yeah.
And of course she's one of those many artists that can do every kind of music.
She can.
And sound like she's been doing it all her life.
Did you see? Okay, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right. I need you to quickly look up, guys. We have all of our devices here, so
yeah.
I want Nick to look up Ice Spice, what she was wearing. Say Ice Spice Off-White.
Okay. Also, I just want to mention. So I'm wondering if, because I said about the Tony Bennett Lady Gaga thing, so it makes me wonder if it's possible that Brandy Carlisle always looked up to Elton John.
That's exactly, that was the first thing I thought of. That's why.
Well, because in this case, like she's a lesbian. He's
Nick. I know,
right? So I'm wondering if, like that he was her idol. So I think it's really great that they're doing that.
That was the whole point of the conversation.
Yeah, I know,
wasn't it? Okay.
No, yeah, that's why I said that's when I mentioned the Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett thing. That's what I thought that was. So and it's because I think that it's the same situation with Brandy Carlisle.
Look that up while I quickly refresh your memory. So look up Ice Spice Off-White. I want you to look up the outfit because we're going to talk about that. But Lady Gaga, she went on stage with Tony Bennett sometime over the pandemic or whatever around that time before he passed, obviously.
Yeah.
And is this actually maybe not so obvious in the era of hologram concerts, but this was before his passing, luckily. And he obviously has dementia and stuff and was forgetting people, but on stage he actually looked at Lady Gaga and remembered her. And she like cried on stage, and it was like a really beautiful. And I think at the time I was actually working in memory care, like doing like that stuff, like as a PCA or whatever.
Right.
And oh my God, it was just one of the most truly beautiful things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And truly, like goosebumps even thinking about it now.
Right.
I can't imagine how incredible that was for her. I can't. And she is one of those people where she's so genuine. Everything that she does, whether it is a miss, like certain things that she may have done in the past, like with collaborations and stuff that people never love to, I just love to keep on bringing it up and using it against her, like her collaboration with R. Kelly. She's apologized and moved on from that and removed it from streaming. Everything she does with a pure heart. Like, she doesn't ever do anything. I don't believe that she's ever done anything in her life with the intention of, or with the thought that it could harm somebody. And I feel like she puts a lot of thought into that. Into making sure that she doesn't hurt people. Like, she's always been, so to see that she gets like these little moments that are so rare and beautiful that someone like you or I may not ever experience. Hopefully we don't experience something like this, but like, it's such a beautiful moment. Like, I'm just glad that she gets to experience those little moments, because like, she deserves it. She deserves just the world. I love Lady Gaga so much. Like, there's no other artist out there that's had an impact on my life or my community, my surroundings, the way that she has ever. So love her so much. I love the new record. It's so great. And I don't know where I was going with that, but did you look up the photo?
Like, what the hell?
Okay, so
like, would she roll around in red paint, or?
Well, look up. People are saying that she looks like a used tampon. And they're also saying that it's a humiliation ritual because she looks really uncomfortable and uncomfortable, I guess, and just not happy. And people are saying it's a humiliation ritual because she kind of like fell off and Doechii took her place. I don't know, like, there's like a whole like web of, and I don't know, like, I mean, like, my question is, like, there was a period of time there where we even spoke about it here on this podcast, like, if you dig back to like the beginnings, like, why the fuck is Ice Spice everywhere? Like, she's ass, she's shit, and like booty, like, literally, and she's on like every track, she's on a Taylor Swift record. Like, why? So the fact that like she was an industry plan, or there's allegations around that, don't surprise me, because I definitely questioned it. Allegedly, but it doesn't. I don't like that people say that about Doechii, because Doechii's been around for a minute and like she's actually really talented. Like, I remember you and I watching her VMA performance. I think it was it the VMAs or Grammys? Grammys. And I was like, wow, that's like so great. Like, that was incredible. Like, she had the energy and all of it. So I think that Ice Spice fell off, not surprisingly. And it's deserved, because like, she just obviously doesn't have what it takes. That's like, she doesn't. Like, she just truly doesn't. Like, I mean, so it's nice to see Doechii take kind of like, I don't know. I think there's room for everyone, but it's nice to see her be like the it girl. And not the spoopy diaper.
I need to bring up one more, and then one more person, and then we need to
the pontoon boat.
No, and then we need to talk about Wendy Williams.
Waganther.
So Chapel Roan, you played a song recently, or a couple of songs. I don't know. I don't even know if it was new, but it was country.
Song, The Giver.
Yeah, like, unreal.
It's a great song.
Like, I'm sorry, but Chapel Roan, I hope that she, like, even more than she already is, becomes like Taylor Swift level, like Lady Gaga level. I honestly
don't think I've ever seen anyone like, and
she's clearly so genuine.
She is, but listen, really quick. Sorry to interject really quick, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone like take off so. Like, I know that she put a couple of years of work and had to go back home and stuff, but like, from like, it's the second she did that Tiny Desk concert,
she was like the biggest
skyrocketed.
And I hope to see her doing stadium tours.
That's a given,
because she's one of a. She's another that truly represents and is looked up to by our community.
Yeah, I love how outspoken she is and how she's a boss. She's a fucking boss.
Yeah.
And I think that
I love seeing these women superstars dominate the music industry here.
And I love that she doesn't take shit. She doesn't let random men behind a camera tell her to fuck off and stuff because she won't pose a certain way.
Yeah.
Like, it's just disgusting. I'm glad you brought this up, the country song, because it brings me to the song is good. In the sense, to me, that the vocals are really powerful.
Oh my god!
Song. I know this song is definitely right up your alley, and it's a great song to those that like country.
Oh yeah,
because people are loving it that love country.
Yeah,
but for me, I don't listen to country very often.
Yeah,
Casey Musgraves to me isn't even that country. The stuff I listen to of her. or from her.
Yeah.
So I won't really spend much time with that song.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of a conversation that I had yesterday or the day before. Yesterday with Amy.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Oh, like," because I was telling her the last time I did like a country era, it was the Joanne era with Lady Gaga,
Mm.
and that's the only time I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I said to her that, like, if you're gonna do a country era and you want me to be on board, you're gonna have to first release like the Fame Monster,
Yeah.
Art Pop, like basically saying like no one else can do it.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, well, you didn't listen to Cowboy Carter?" And I was like, I genuinely didn't. I did not listen to the 28 tracks on Cowboy Carter from Beyonce.
Yeah.
I heard the whatever that was on the Texas Hold'em and Five Carriages. Like, I'm not under the rock. I heard those tracks. I loved the track with her and Miley.
Yeah.
That was put on there for girls like me who
Yeah.
don't like just, who weren't going to tune into the other country stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she said like something along the lines like, "Oh, I love Beyonce enough to listen to the whole album." It's like, well, I mean, like, I don't know. I just don't. I'm not going to put myself through something where I'm going to listen to a full 1 hour
Yeah.
of music that I just genuinely don't want to fucking listen to.
Yeah.
I'm not. And Beyonce doesn't need my damn stream.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know. I just thought that it was interesting that people will listen to a full album just because they like the person, even if they don't like the music that's they're listening to.
Yeah.
It's like, why?
Yeah, I know.
I thought that was interesting. I know that like Amy's certainly not the only one that does that.
Right.
But it kind of reminds me of, and this is switching gears from Amy totally.
Mm-hmm.
I see online a lot like where people are like, "Oh, do we like where they'll be looking to other people to like kind of tell them how to feel about a project from an artist or whatever. Like if these people don't like it, then they don't like it."
Yeah.
I'm like, God, like, does no one like have your own damn opinion? Like, if you like the music,
I
you like the damn music. Like, it is what it
Right.
is, right? Like,
Yeah.
but then I have to remind myself, a lot of the people that are on Twitter and X are like fucking 12 and 13. So I mean, like at that age, I was totally going like whatever too.
Oh
right?
yeah. So we're gonna take a little break, take a
Yes,
sip,
I need a drink.
and then when
I've
we
been
get back, we gotta talk about Wendy Williams.
Wendy, and yeah, there's just so much we need to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, we're kind of at the halfway point anyway, so
Yeah.
it's a great time to
because and Wendy's gonna be
nobody
a
on the other
long
end's gonna know that
segment.
we were even gone because I don't edit it in a way that like,
Right.
transitions
I
and
know
stuff.
it.
We're doing
But yeah.
train of thought right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, BRB.
In the
And they're
window.
quite close.
What?
Her and Harvey Levin are quite close. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I feel like he's helping her.
People like to make it seem like that's what it sounds like to me, but people like to make it sound like Wendy is like hated by everyone.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not fucking
Yeah.
true. I love Wendy.
Yeah.
You love Wendy. We
So
love Wendy.
for those of you that actually legit, I'm sure there's some people that exist that don't know what's going on. She was apparently diagnosed with that frontal temporal dementia like 3-4 years ago, and there was also some like suspicious stuff going on with her money through I can't remember, the Wells Fargo bank or whatever, and they froze her account, and anyway, and it prompted some sort of conservatorship thing, and she's in this facility in New York, and it's an upscale like care home or whatever type thing, like in the memory care unit, and she's been deemed incapacitated, and she's never been allowed to leave like that 5th floor. Well, she's been able to do these interviews, and in the past, well, yesterday and in the past, the one with Harvey Levin, and I mean, from the outside looking in, I think most of us can say that like she's not incapacitated. Like she chooses to stay in her room,
and even
because
if
she doesn't
was
want
incapacitated, her family should be able to visit her.
Well, yeah, and like she chooses, like she said, she stays in her room most of the time because she can go out on that floor. It's a memory care unit, like, and eat with everyone else. And she said everyone's 80 and 90 years old. Like, like it's just, so I think it's like, and she said yesterday morning, like, I don't doubt that I needed some sort of help, or like, even if it wasn't me, doing stuff with my account, in order to protect me and my money or whatever. Like, I understand, like, sometimes they need to do things to protect that, but she said, I don't have dementia, like, because she got taken to the hospital this
They
week.
said that they did the same fucking thing
Yeah.
with Britney Spears.
Yeah, and
Dementia. They always say dementia.
she was able to get a second opinion, and she's been deemed that she's competent and that nothing's wrong with her. Like, she
And the
said,
thing
I've
is,
had some health issues in the past, and I've issues with drugs and alcohol, but they said she's fine. Like, and so anyway, I feel like this time around that she's going to get out of it. But it's just like, it just brings up that conversation again with what happened with Britney Spears. It's like,
well, I do
how
think
does
that
this happen? Like,
a big part of it was them restricting in these conservatorships how
her
they were able
phone
to.
calls,
Well, that for everything was, but how they were able to
everything.
keep Britney in it for so long is that there was no one really knew what a conservatorship even really was.
Yeah,
We never. I'm speaking for myself included.
right.
I didn't really even ever look into it until like
The Free Britney movement,
oh,
or well, before
yeah,
that,
like
but
around Glory is when like there was like
yeah,
the
it
like a
started
scratch
kind of
music
been
video and
talked
stuff.
about.
Yes,
Yeah,
more so yes.
yeah.
But they were choosing her doctors and everything and stuff like that,
Mhm.
so she wasn't getting the second opinion.
No.
And if she would have been given the chance sometime along the line before someone brought that recording device into the courtroom that day, she would
Mhm.
have been deemed fit by someone that wasn't
Britney
paid.
Spears?
Yes,
Yeah,
and she would have been given her life back. So
yeah,
Wendy Williams, if this can happen to Wendy Williams afterwards, like imagine how many people that are just a single,
yeah,
like their husbands passed away, no children,
yeah,
with in a state or whatever, they're getting taken
yeah.
advantage of and no one knows.
And, they yesterday morning too, they asked her about her famous yellow chair that she sat in on the Wendy Williams show.
It was yellow? I thought it was purple.
Oh, purple chair,
Okay.
yes, purple chair. Because I guess, her fans and her viewers or whatever have been asking, like, for whoever gets the interview or if someone interviews her to ask her. And she said, oh, I still have it. It's in storage, like with everything else that went into storage when this happened. And she said, I've been asking to go, get some stuff from storage, and she's not allowed.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
interesting.
But she says, I have
Well,
it.
I
And
mean,
when
obviously.
I get out of this thing, it'll be with me till the day I die.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the whole thing was shady. How like they just like brought Sherry. Was it Sherry Jackson?
Sherry Shepherd.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the cats were just truly insane.
Oh, I know.
Like I don't know what's wrong with them.
Yeah.
Like just like brought her in and like replaced Wendy when Wendy was like,
Not.
Wendy wasn't even on wasn't even in on it. She didn't understand what was going on. And not because she was incapacitated,
I
because they were
know.
pushing her out and prepping for this fucking conservatorship.
I know.
Seriously,
Yeah.
I could not. Okay, I'm gonna say this right now. I love the cats.
Yeah.
But these are the last ones we're ever gonna fucking have.
Yeah.
Last ones we're ever gonna fucking have.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'll shed a tear the day that they go meet their sweet siblings that have already crossed that rainbow bridge. But it'll be a day in which I chuck that cat litter out the door and the dishes.
Yeah.
Or at least into storage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I never look back.
Yeah.
I was joking, but like I am joking, but sometimes I'm just like, what the fuck?
I know.
Like Norman especially.
Yeah.
He's very, very naughty.
Yeah.
Very naughty. In the sense that like he'll bite somebody.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Even me.
Yeah.
And all he does is eat.
Yeah.
All he does is eat. You cannot restrict him from food because he'll eat fucking plastic.
Yeah.
He'll chew plastic off of things and puke it up and choke on it. And you have to pull it out of his throat.
Yeah.
So he's constantly eating.
Yeah.
And sometimes like he just makes a big mess. He'll roll in the litter. He'll scoop a bunch of litter out of the box.
Yeah.
And then friggin' roll in it. He's a long-haired cat. And everywhere in our house just has cat litter.
Yeah.
So we have to constantly sweep and mop. And I mean, yes, you always have to sweep and mop and vacuum and stuff too. But like it's a couple times a day that we're having to like sweep up litter and stuff from around the house and whatnot. So
yeah,
it's he's just a fucking bastard. I love him so much, but he's truly a little fucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just like it's really messed up what's happening to her. I think that she's lucky too that somehow amongst all this, I think with the help of her sister and quite possibly maybe Harvey Levin, that she's been able to make these phone calls and do interviews and get out to, go to the hospital and get a second opinion. Like, that's not something that could ever happen to Britney Spears. And while we're on that, like years ago, I couldn't even tell you, and I wish
better. I need to sneeze.
Okay.
Whew, allergies.
Right. So
that sounds so
yeah.
fake.
So while we're on that like topic of the conservatorship, like, so in my past, I worked in the airline industry. I was like a customer service agent, gate agent. When we lived in Winnipeg, and I remember the day, like, I don't even know what album it was she was on tour for.
It would have been either Circus or Femme Fatale.
I feel like it was Circus. Anyway, she came to Winnipeg, and believe it or not, they didn't fly private. They flew on Air Canada, and they like closed like the first class off for like her and whoever, but she had an entourage of people. I remember the day I was working a flight at the gate, and it arrived, and like anyone that worked on the ramp side, like baggage handlers and stuff, like they were like surrounding that plane because everyone knew that Britney Spears was coming off, and that like there was a bit of a motorcade like that came to the outside of the jetway to pick them up, like rather than them go through the terminal. And so they had to come out that door at the top of the jetway and go down those metal stairs on the side of it. So I stood there in the window and I watched, or on the outside of our jetway outside, and watched them come off. And at that time, I'm not going to lie, I didn't know that there was a conservatorship, or even probably what a conservatorship was.
All of us.
But right now that I do, I will never forget that day, because there was probably about 50 people with her.
Oh yeah.
And her hair, it looked like it hadn't even been like brushed that day. It was in like almost like a just messy mop on top of her head, and she was in like these baggy like sweatpants suit, and I know that her father was right next to her, and I know that I saw them get off the plane.
Oh my god.
And I know that I without a doubt that what's her name, Lou M. Taylor, that they were all there.
Well, Robin Greenhill or whatever would have been there for sure.
Yeah.
Wood or whatever.
There was a whole bunch of them, and they got in these blocked out SUVs, and they drove out another way. And
I mean, and that's not unusual for a celebrity, but
yeah.
Now that we know what we know, it's unfortunate because she was being just led from plane to car to show back to hotel,
and thinking back,
nothing
to remembering like her physical appearance, you could just tell that she was just like doing what she was told. Like, it was like she had a bunch of armed guards, like, and that she was a prisoner, and she was being really like, it's just unreal. And now her father has no legs. Isn't that karma?
I mean, I think the first time he said it to me, I was like, I thought you were joking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't wish.
Does he have leg or just no legs at all?
No legs.
What the fuck happened there?
I think it was
gangrene. Speaking of,
hang on, it was
for me, you zombie boy.
And it wasn't that long ago.
No, really, I've not heard anything about it. You know what? That spooky chick that broke the Brigitte Macron. Sorry, continue.
He had one leg amputated due to a severe bacterial infection that developed after a knee replacement. He underwent a knee replacement surgery, but subsequently developed a serious bacterial infection in his leg. He underwent multiple surgeries to try and control the infection, but they were unsuccessful.
Oh my God.
As a last resort, doctors decided to amputate one of his legs to combat the infection. The amputation occurred about a month after he was hospitalized with the bacterial infection.
That's insane. Like, they couldn't just take out the knee replacement?
Well, no, she was already infected by that time.
That
right?
is truly horrific.
So,
And
but
that
you know what?
hits a little close home for me. I mean, yes, it is. Death to
Yeah.
the
Now
mall,
you're
as Wendy would say.
incapacitated.
As the great Wendy, as the great, and literally though, he
Yeah.
actually is.
Yep.
He actually is.
Yeah.
Brittany was, but only by fucking force.
Yeah.
And the damage that they did to her is gonna be there for the rest of her life. We see her on
Yeah.
Instagram and stuff, and I'm not fully convinced that she's fucking free.
Me neither. But
No.
if she is, it's
If she is,
the
then more
stuff
power
she
to her.
was
But
fed, like drugs and
has
stuff, that has
permanently
permanently
altered her
left
for the rest
some
of her life.
damage. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But as the great Wendy Williams once said,
So they should have taken both his legs.
what did Wendy Williams say that one time?
What?
About what did Wendy Williams say that one time about the family?
Death to them all.
Exactly.
And she was like, I think
Allegedly.
after she said it, she was like, oops.
Those are her words.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. Oops, because like the reaction was.
I think she was like, oh, should I said that on TV?
I miss her so much. Like, and it was an instant like, oh, I love her so much. And that, you know what? Death to fucking the bitches that did that to her. They robbed her of her life.
Remember when was it Harvey Levin? Yeah, Harvey Levin asked Wendy about what you should in that recent interview. What do you think of Elon? And I think it was what do you think about Elon and Trump or whatever? And she said they should be in jail. And like,
she's not wrong.
Yeah,
she's not wrong.
I love it.
I just think that they need to give her some freedom.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
you can tell she even wants to come back to television.
Well, I mean, they just kind of ripped it away from her. I mean, they could have at least
given
her some
they
closure.
Did.
They
really
literally
did.
had somebody else take over her show and then finish it.
I know.
Like, that's fucked up. That's so fucked up. They did Wendy so wrong, and they're still
in the same studio.
They're still doing it. No, like that girl literally was filling in for Wendy and then finished the show for her.
I know.
And it was against Wendy's will. Like, she didn't ask for that.
No.
It was so dirty. So dirty. The fact that she had dedicated so much of her time to that show just to be disposed of like that and then locked up. It's just
when she gets out, I think there's going to be some lawsuits.
Well, I think that we need to, like, we moved on from the Free Britney thing way too quickly. We should have been continuing to ask questions, everybody as a society. Like, why is this whole business, why is the conservatorship thing even a business? It should never have been.
And they're not the only ones.
People that, no, they're not the only ones. That's exactly what I'm saying.
They're just the ones being talked about.
Because they're famous. Very famous.
And I bet you there's other famous people that could be on the verge of one at least. Like, sorry, but like, it's
don't be sorry. I'm thinking there was somebody else. Amanda Bynes was in one.
Yeah, look at her. The condition she's in.
I'm not sure if this is Amanda Bynes, but there was an account on Twitter for a long time that was Ashley Banks.
Yeah, I have her on Twitter.
And allegedly that was Amanda Bynes. And I spoke to her a number of times through the account. And she had sent me, because she was asking me for money at one point. And I was like, this is so scammy and weird. And I didn't send her money. I was in like in Canada. Like, I couldn't. I don't have money. But I explained it to her and I was like, like, aren't you out of your conservatorship? Like, you should have access to your money. And she's like, no, like, but she sent me like some documents that stated that the conservatorship of her person was removed, but the conservatorship of her estate is still in effect. So, I mean, great. Now she can go to the doctor when she wants to without having to call and jump through hoops, but now she still has to ask for the funds. So the control is still there, and they're still in every aspect of her life because they control her financially.
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah. I think that we live in a really strange world where I noticed, like, just celebrities, like, it brings me back to, like, shouldn't Elton John enjoy the rest of his years here with us? Like, because they're not promised at that age.
I know.
They're not promised ever, but especially at that age, every second's a gift.
Yeah.
But you see the celebrities, like even Cher, everyone just performing still in their ripe age. And I feel like it's because, like, they can just they're not allowed to stop. They're not allowed to stop, because if they were, then I feel like they would. After a certain point, when they're being wheeled around and you can't see.
Well, Cher's gotten like 5 farewell tours.
I know.
So, and I think she's
pretty telling.
I think she's supposed to do another one.
Well, I mean, like, because she's like, hey, can I wrap it up, please? And they're like, no, because this poor she made some money. Like, and you're gonna have to
no, you've made it another year. So
literally,
because she's like almost 80,
and then
they're like, so no.
And then they just,
Like,
yeah. And then we move on to the next person. I
but
just
then
find this
again,
pretty
part of me
gross.
is like, I don't know. Like, I think someone asked Cher once, and she was like, and she was so genuine about it. I love it. Like,
And
it keeps me young.
that's the
Like,
thing. Like,
and
I'm
it
sure that
probably
they
does.
do, but like,
Yeah,
after a certain point, like, you should like not be working anymore.
I know.
You should
I
not be
get it.
performing and touring anymore. Like, it's just like, God damn it.
Why can't a label you've been with all your life, or at least a good chunk of it, just like do the right thing and be like just like a CEO would? If they retire, they're gonna get a pension. Like, even though they probably have the funds in a single bank account that to live off of until the day they die, but they're entitled to a pension.
Exactly.
So why are they, if this is what's happening, forcing these people who are also human beings, just happen to be in the public eye, to do that? Like, it's just so dirty.
It is dirty. And it's fucked up. But in the spirit of keeping our episode, we have about 15 minutes left. There's a few topics we still need to
I
cover.
know.
I want to quickly talk about Iggy Azalea, but after that, I want to talk about the Snow White drama before the movie comes out next week.
Iggy Azalea brings up more of the bullshit in
It
that
ties right into
industry.
this. And then we're going to talk about Lizzo's new song before we tap out. So do you want to just quickly talk about what I had sent you about Iggy?
Yes.
We'll shoot back and forth on that.
So I didn't know this was going on, but we're both big fans of Iggy Azalea. And I think like her last tour she did,
I'm not sure she's ever done a proper tour.
To be her last tour.
Oh, you mean when she opened for?
Yeah, but she's
Pitbull.
She's making she's coming back. She's not like being.
I would love for her to come back.
So anyway, I didn't know this, but Andrew sent me this, but I guess she kind of came out and said that Universal Music, her label, owes her millions of dollars in the 8-figure range. And she basically said, "Mark my words, you ugly bitch, you will pay me what's owed." So I didn't know, but should I just read this? It'll be
in a nutshell. Essentially, Universal Music owes her a ton of royalties in this in the
millions.
tune of like 8 figures, millions, tens of millions.
Yeah.
And they offered her a counter settlement of $18,000. And I guess this is like
normal.
She's fighting with them.
Yeah.
And she's basically highlighting that she's okay and she is going to get her money eventually. But this just highlights basically what Chappell Roan had said. Like, artists aren't taken care of by their labels. Yeah. They're not in any respect at all. Like, they're being completely blood dry. And I feel like everything that we've talked about this episode has tied into this. They're being blood dry.
Yeah.
They're not seen as people. They are seen as machines and businesses.
Yeah.
And I think that something seriously needs to change there because it's just inhumane. It's inhumane. I don't believe that any person signs up to be. They sign up to
have their life controlled.
Not exactly, but I don't think they don't deserve to.
No.
They're signing up to release their art and to make money. And if they want to be famous, great. But being famous should not automatically come with your whole entire life is controlled by a couple of people or a corporation forever. And I just think it's disgusting.
It is.
So that's basically what's happening with Iggy. She's very brave, Iggy, and it's sad to even say that it's brave, but she is for publicly speaking against Universal Music, which is one of the, and we've discussed this between you and I outside of the podcast briefly, one of the 3 biggest like music publisher companies ever in the world right now. Period. Yeah. There's Sony, Warner, and Universal. Yeah. Those are the big 3. Yeah. Everything's a brand like underneath them. So did Murphy fart?
No.
I think he did. It must have just come over towards me, and it's coming to you soon. Yeah, he definitely did. Oh, Murph, you're gonna have to get out of the studio next time we record. Sorry. Oh God. Yeah, so it's awful. Yeah. Both the fire and what's happening to artists. Did it hit you? Yeah. Yeah, I'm so glad it did. So glad it did. It's actually completely disgusting.
Well, it's because you gave him that boiled egg. Because he did it the last time you gave him boiled
Did he
egg.
really?
Yes, he did.
I don't think I was here. It was so fucking bad.
So
I gave him one boiled
it
egg
should
as a
have all
treat.
went to you.
Oh, it is. It's sticking to my nostrils. I want to move. It's
Yeah.
awful. Okay, I'm gonna have to pause really quick, guys. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, you're gonna suffer.
I had to move.
Oh, we're still on it?
Still recording? I paused.
Oh, okay. Are you not paused?
We're not paused no more, guys.
Right now you're not?
No, we're not, babe. That's why I'm talking into it and to you.
Okay. Yeah,
Do you still smell?
I do.
Yeah, I moved over here where there's no smell, but it's okay.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know. The last time I smelled anything that disgusting was that time when he was a puppy. And the people at the vet, not the vet, sorry, the pet food store recommended like this new pour over thing. It was like a broccoli soup texture thing that we poured over his food. And then we were in the bus doing something. We drove him somewhere in the fucking bus.
Yeah.
And he was the worst smell.
And he was farting the whole time.
It was the most disgusting. And I've never smelled anything like that until since then.
Yeah.
Or before then.
But I did last time Andrew made a boiled egg and gave it to him. And he did that again today. And I didn't say anything, but I knew this was going to happen. So anyway.
No idea.
It is what it is. You can't really smell it anymore.
But thank God for that. But it was truly something. Dog farts are bad, but that was truly horrific. I'm sorry, Murphy. Yeah. That was truly horrific. I love you so much, babe. So
it just means he's relaxed.
He's very
he's
relaxed. Yeah. He is very relaxed. We had the sun shining here in Fredericton.
Oh, it's just beautiful.
If you're listening from India or one of the several other countries that are actually on the here, I can't bring it up right now, but we'll go into it next time. Actually, there's like just random listeners from all over.
Yeah.
And I think that you all deserve to know that we are coming out of the winter months. The sun is shining. There's green grass actually showing up in places. We went out for a walk earlier and there was green grass.
Yeah.
I don't know if it just didn't die during winter or if it's coming back to life.
Yeah.
Re-emerging.
Yeah. If you're not from Canada, there's such thing as what we call seasonal depression.
I think it's important, like not just Canada, but Eastern Canada. Is a different. It's like a very specific climate. Yeah,
we have a seasonal depression, and it's legit a thing if you look it up. If you never heard of it, but especially just with their climate and stuff, like winter months, we tend to like more go into our cocoon or whatever. And this time of year, like when the snow starts melting and it gets nice out, more and more people are out walking their dogs, like for longer walks and stuff, like enjoying it. Like there's just different. You literally like your mood just is automatically better. I notice it every year.
Yes.
So yeah.
With that said, since the walk, we've been cooped up inside with all of our blinds closed.
Yeah. But I mean, we also like being at home.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. But I mean, the smell that he let out is a sign that we're going to have to go for another walk soon.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was always going to need another walk, but I think it might have to be sooner.
Yeah.
Rather than later. And it's like actually it's supper time too. So we actually timed this out like super great. But it's like I really hope that Iggy like gets her money. Hope she gets her money.
And that Wendy gets her freedom.
Wendy gets her freedom.
And money.
And I have a question.
And Amanda Bynes, that she gets her money.
Amanda Bynes does appear to be doing better.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, come on, lawyers, the big shot lawyers there in LA and even in New York where Wendy is, like, come on. Like, just at some point do the right thing. Stop looking at the dollar signs, like, and help these people.
What did Jessie J once say? It's not about the money.
It's just not. Nothing is, I feel, right now in this world. Like,
never.
There's these evil people that literally want to take all the money. Like, really? Honestly.
I know. Nick, I know.
And it's just, like, ridiculous. Like,
it is. It's fucked.
Like, so y'all that are in positions that can change this and fix this, like, do it. Because you know what I said to someone this week? We're all not being urgent enough, like our governments, about this Trump thing. Like, this is serious and they're not taking it, like, they're retaliating, of course, but like, this needs to end and it needs to end now. And they're so
how did we get there?
I don't know, but they're just so caught up in like following all these procedures they have to follow in order to impeach and remove the president. Like,
So
no,
we're
this just needs to happen.
we
Like,
said all we need to say about
I
Donald
know.
Trump last time we did the episode.
Anyway, yeah.
Lizzo is what I think we should find and
Oh,
focus
yes.
on.
He looks amazing.
Looks really great. What do you think about her new music?
I love her music.
Her new
I'm
music.
so glad that she's back with new music. Like,
That's good.
you know, I thought maybe that whole like were they dancers that worked with her or whatever. Remember they were.
That's still ongoing, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
It feels like it. Even if it is, like, I feel like it's quieted down a little bit.
It has
like,
quieted down. Well, she's back to releasing
I
music
just
and
thought
stuff,
I
so
was worried that would like destroy her career or something. Like,
something told me it wouldn't.
right? Because I like
Michael
her
Jackson
music and I like
survived
what
through
she stands for.
molestation rumors. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, many people have actually. Many people have.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson comes to mind immediately just because he has a movie biopic about his life coming out soon. And
Like an actual
actual movie that
Okay.
where his nephew or cousin, someone is actually playing him in the movie.
Oh,
But also, that's just at the forefront of my mind, and I think a lot of people's minds right now.
yeah.
And also the Finding or Leaving Neverland or whatever is getting a second part that's coming out soon. So
Oh, wow.
that's no coincidence. I think
Yeah.
the second part is coming out now because it's like, but you know what? Actually,
you're
speaking
right.
about Lizzo really quick before we switch back to Michael Jackson, I do like the new Lizzo track. I didn't like the first one she put out, Love in Real Life. But like the new one's still bad. It's so good.
Yeah.
But I do notice that the numbers just aren't the same as the last time she released music. So
Oh,
I
really?
think that is either her label's not having faith in the fact that she's ready to come back or something and they're not promoting, or people are not tuning in. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know if they're aware and actively not tuning in or if they just don't know to tune in. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see where this goes and if she is in her flop era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think that maybe we are, and you know what? Women are always held to a different standard, though.
I know.
This is an allegation that wasn't even proven. That like she took her dancers to.
It seemed like it just came out of nowhere.
It did come out of nowhere, but it wasn't even proven. But like we are burning her at the stake and not giving her any redemption. But if it were any other male in the world, it wouldn't even be like that.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my god, like he's learned, he apologized, he's not gonna rape anymore. So
Yeah.
Chris Brown is a fucking perfect example.
Yeah.
He just won a Grammy this year, that piece of shit. Like, are you fucking kidding?
Yeah. I know.
That is the world that we live in. That's the world that my niece is growing up in, and people are gonna tell me that I'm paranoid. No, people don't tell me that actually. But they probably will if I say things like that I'm saying right now, that like I'm scared for my niece to grow up in this fucking world, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's scary.
It just goes hand in hand with
experiencing bullying and stuff, and she's in grade 1.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand with so many like people our own age that don't have kids that say they don't know if they want kids, but they don't know if they want to have kids now because they're scared to bring them up in this world. And there's something really like borderline devastating for someone to be pushed to the point where that's how they feel.
Well, yeah. How can you bring?
I understand why, and I understand why they feel that way.
Or how can you? I mean, I'm not judging anyone for doing so. I guess what I'm trying to say is, what I'm trying. You didn't. I kind of implied that by accident, though. I guess what I'm trying to say is like, it's certainly something that people have to think about now before they have children, or if they are bringing children to the world without planning or whatever.
Yeah.
But moving on from Lizzo and all that fun stuff, like we'll keep an eye on that. Circling back to Michael Jackson before we sign out here. The biopic's coming out, but it was finished.
Oh, really?
But they had to actually go back and start filming basically half the movie over again because one of the children that he settled with and their family, the Chandler family or something that he settled with back in 93, there was a term in the settlement that their family, the name, any mention of what happened, like the molestation or whatever, can't be mentioned ever in any sort of media in the future produced by like or whatever. So somehow whoever wrote this, like it had to go through so many people before it even got approved for a budget, I'm sure. And no one caught that.
Yeah.
It's just insane. It's dead in the water. If you can scrap movies that cost $90 million, like back or whatever, like I had no interest in seeing that, but it's still fucked up that you can just scrap it.
Yeah.
Scrap this one. I say scrap this one too. Yeah. I don't think that we need it.
Yeah. So before we leave you, I just want to, so I just want, it goes hand in hand with like when we were talking before about like, comment on the podcast, engage with us. If there's anything, you want us to talk about, let us know. Like, but I'm definitely like, if God forbid you're listening to us and you're a psychologist or a doctor or a lawyer and somewhere, like I'd love to hear your professional opinions on the Wendy Williams case, or anyone that just knows a lot about that kind of stuff because
Someone
of
on
what your line
YouTube's
of
really
work
great for
might
that.
be. I'd
A surprise witness.
love for you to reach out, because I think it's something that definitely, unfortunately, still needs to be talked about, even post Britney Spears conservatorship. So yeah, reach out, engage with us, and we can keep some of these conversations going, not just be like, oh, that we discussed that on just one episode, because
Well, certainly
Yeah.
something we'll talk about if it
Yeah.
develops further.
yeah,
for sure.
definitely. So we'll keep an eye on it, and like you said, if you have stuff you want to add, reach out.
Yeah. With that said, we're actually on YouTube now, guys. If you
Yeah.
want, if you're listening to, keep on streaming wherever you're listening from. But I just want to let you know that we're also on YouTube. I don't know if you want to.
You'll find us on any
Yeah,
platform.
I've had I think one or two people like ask if we're on YouTube, and it's not really a video element to it yet, but the audio is still there.
Yeah.
The podcast is available there now too if you want to check it out.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Last week, the numbers from last week are great for us.
Yeah.
It was really encouraging because we're so optimistic going into that episode.
Yeah.
It's nice to be validated by like, oh, people are actually enjoying this. They must be sharing it because we're getting more listens than we ever really have. So
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I think it's exciting.
Yeah.
And I think people should follow us on Instagram, empty.thoughtspod.
Yeah.
If you follow us there, you'll find in our bio a link tree that is linked to all of our shit.
Yeah.
Which includes playlists.
Yeah.
With music that we're listening to currently.
My Blue Sky account.
His Blue Sky account, because he's obsessed with Blue
Get
Sky.
on Blue Sky, guys. It's a great social media platform. People on there love it. It's
we're signing out.
Yeah. So anyway,
they can pay us before you start promoting.
I know, right? So yeah.
What the fuck?
So yeah, just go to our link tree and follow.
We're on Facebook, Empty Thoughts Podcasts, all of the things. We love you guys so much. Subscribe, rate us. Oh my god, Nick, what?
I don't know.
Did you just get possessed by the ghost of R. Kelly?
Ew, no.
Ew. Yeah, that's how. Ew. Okay, guys, thank you guys so much. Yeah, goodbye.
Bye. I don't know why.